So I don't think it's just those championship weeks. I think the Eagles defense is good for everything else except those weeks. And then you have Dallas, that's going to be a competitive game. Whether who's starting, Dak or Andy Dalton, doesn't matter to me. They still have Michael Gallup, Amari Cooper. They got CeeDee Lamb now. Zeke is still in the backfield. That's a lot to cover for the Eagles defense. So if they'll get you to the playoffs, but how will they do in the playoffs is my concern.
You're only saying this because I said I didn't like the Raiders.
No, it's dead ass. Look, it's dead ass on my thing. It's right here. It says Eagles.
Read the notes.
I know my defense sucks. Like I know my Raiders defense sucks.
You picked them. You picked them for your cakewalk calendar.
I'm telling you, just because of those playoff weeks. Though.
I'm not saying this. I'm not saying this just because I'm an Eagles fan. I do love the pick. Again, I was going to go with the Eagles, but I saw Baltimore City.
You don't want to be a homer.
Well, no, I'll be a homer all day. I don't care. It's my fucking squad. I'm wearing the Eagles conference championship hat from 2017. By the way, signed. I don't know if you see that. Brent Selleck met him in London. So shout out to my guy Brent Selleck. We're basically best friends. Oh, Trey's calling me. Trey's calling me. I'm going to answer it.
Okay.
You're on speaker.
Trey, you're on speaker. Give me 1 second so I can finish talking about the Eagles, though. Anyway, like I was saying before Trey so rudely interrupted.
Right?
I know, right?
To Alex's point about them playing the Cowboys in Week 16, what do we know about the Cowboys? What happens every year? They fall apart in January. So I'm not worried about
even in January. In December.
December, January, whatever. It's all the same month.
There's too much to like about the Cowboys offense for me.
And we say that every year, and look where that got us last year.
It's the same offense that it was last year. Exactly. The only thing they did was they added CeeDee Lamb, who, I mean, granted is CeeDee Lamb, but, I don't trust Dak in December, do you?
No, I don't. I don't track Dak at all, but that's just – this is fantasy. I'm not talking about wins or losses. I'm just talking about, fantasy production. And there's just too much – I think there's too much to go around for the Eagles defense to really – get a lot of fantasy production in my defense. That's my own thing. I have nothing against the Eagles defense. It's just
sounds like you do.
I don't. I really don't. Why would I care if y'all bash on the Raiders? I mean, because the Raiders defense sucks. I know that, but I'm just saying that schedule for the playoffs could be good. What does Trey have to say? Trey's been on hold for a while. What's going on with Trey?
What does Trey have to say? Chad, you have headphones in now. No,
yeah, he can't. Yeah, he can't hear us.
Trey can't hear us.
It still comes. You can still hear it, but yeah, maybe you can't because the speakers on my computer kind of suck. So I don't really know.
Trey,
I can't hear either of them, but I can hear Chad.
Yeah, because the speakers on my computer suck. That's why.
What's your headphones?
Trying to think how we can do this.
I just asked him.
I don't think they really need to hear me. I'm only on it for like 2 minutes.
I can hear him.
They can hear you. I'm pretty sure.
I don't think he needs to hear us.
Yeah, he just needs to go.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying I don't need to hear them.
Oh,
okay, perfect.
That's right.
All right, go.
He doesn't care what you guys have to say.
Oh wow, that's kind of rude.
Yeah.
What
What else is new?
All right, so am I good?
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah,
See,
good.
do your thing.
Well, listen, I just had to call in. I'm on vacation. I'm in Ocean City, Maryland, having a great time. Yesterday, I had 11 strawberry daiquiris in the pool.
Jesus!
It was great. But, I had to call it because this Bill Simmons story is just the least surprising story of all time. We always have, potential writers that want to join the site, and they're like, yeah, man, I always liked Bill Simmons. I always read The Ringer. I was like, why? Bill Simmons is one of the biggest douchebags in sports media. That's not a secret. And he had this line where he's like, this isn't open mic night. I just have such a problem with that. And the problem I have is, A, Bill Simmons is a nobody without ESPN. Nobody knows who that guy is if ESPN never gives him a chance. B, and this may come off as a little arrogant, I would love to hear Alex here because we gave Alex a chance, and he had no followers. He had 2 followers. Nobody knew who the fuck Alex Shin was. But we gave him a chance, and he joined the site, and he gets to write. And now I think Alex is pretty good. So, you know what? I think open night's great because we have 70 deactivated Slack accounts on the site for a reason. We're going to find out if you suck because most of the time you quit on your own. And I think here we give everybody an opportunity, and the ones that are good will find a way to break through. And another thing is, I think, again, this might sound arrogant, but I think people being around me, being around Chad, being around everybody here, they get better from watching everybody else. So, I don't know. I think open mic night is great. And it's just one of the things that our day's coming, boys, you know? Our day's coming. Just be patient. Our day's coming. The corona can't stop us forever. We're on the way up, so Bill Simmons can act like an arrogant piece of shit, and his employees can hate him, so it's all good. I just need to call in and say that.
All right.
Thank you, Trey.
Thank you, Trey. Tell Trey thank you. You can't hear us.
Well, yeah, you can't hear you guys, but yeah, just to also comment with what, since Trey was coming at Bill Simmons, you have to think his comments were about lack of diversity at the Ringer, and he said we're not here for open mic night. Even if you're not here for open mic night, if you look at, you know, the two main sports leagues in America, football, NFL, and basketball, NBA, they're like 99% black guys, you know? So for you to have a staff of like all white writers and shit like that, like you don't have to be open mic night. You can grab any one of these retired NBA players or NFL guys, and I'm sure they'd be more than happy to write articles and do fantasy analysis and shit like that, you know? So, I mean, his comments just made absolutely no sense.
Yeah.
Can somebody tell me what those other two guys are saying? I'd love to know.
They didn't say anything. I was talking the whole
We
time.
were just listening.
Yeah, we were just listening. But, I mean, he's right, though. I mean, you know, Trey, I had no experience. I only just love sports. And so, you know, I told Trey, hey, he put out a tweet, and he's like, hey, is there anyone looking just to cover NBA, NFL? And I was like, fuck it, I'll do it. You know, just to try my hand at it. And, you know, I really do like it. You know, I may not be the best, but I really do enjoy doing it. It's fun. And, I mean, I get to rant. I get to say whatever the fuck I want to say. I feel like – so, I mean, open mic night is good for people that have no experience, or even if you do have experience, you know, because we all have a voice to be heard about sports. It might be a wrong opinion. It might be a good opinion. I over here just said the Raiders defense might be good for 13-16, but that's my opinion. I could say that, and you know what? People aren't going to hear it, and that makes me feel good. And I love, you know, it's fun. It's fun, and I just feel like everyone should have a chance. And you know, Bill Simmons is kind of a fucking douchebag for saying, you know, this is not open mic night. I mean, what kind of elitist shit is that? That's elitist as fuck. Like, you know, lack of diversity or whatever. You can grab people from everywhere. Chad was just talking about the retired people from the NFL or the NBA. You could just get one of them. They might mean anything. So the lack of diversity is, first of all, a problem. Second of all, it's an open mic night thing. I mean, what? You're too good to let anyone have a chance. I mean, I'm not saying, you know, have them write an article right now, but to even just give them a chance to, hey, I want to write for you. Here's a sample of my work. And if that's not good enough for you, that's fine. But I mean, it's just, you know, it's just kind of elitist. I don't like it.
Trey, did you hear what he said that time?
Not a word.
Okay. I tried moving my phone closer to my computer speaker, but it didn't work out.
Your computer speaker's muted.
It'll be
No, it's not.
It's not.
No, it's not. My speakers are the sound system on my computer has been fucked up for a while now. So when I plug my headphones in, it still plays sound through the the laptop speakers. Yeah.
It'll be on. Just tell Trey it'll be on the video. That's all. That's all.
Yeah, it's on the. Check it out.
I mean, unfortunately, Trey, like they said, you're gonna have to just hope that these guys agreed with you and then rebut them in the next episode or something, because you're not here. I'm sorry, you're just not here.
Oh. So you're telling me they disagree with me?
No.
That's exactly what happened.
Oh my God,
Alex was like, yo, Trey should have never gave me a shot. He was talking all kinds of shit about himself. No, he's like, they didn't disagree with you.
Yeah, I said.
Oh man, that's funny. I was like, damn.
Can somebody tell me what he said?
It was a lot.
He basically he agreed with you. That's the gist of it. I mean, he spoke for a while, so it's kind of hard to go verbatim what he just said.
Just say it's going to be on the video. That's all it's going to be. It's going to be on the video.
I want to back. Fellas, this was fun. I'm going to drink more of my Corona refreshers right now. I'm having crabs tomorrow. So I'll be enjoying my vacation. I'll see you guys later.
All right, later, man.
Thank you, Trey.
It's always good to hear from Trey.
It's always good to hear from Trey.
Always
And just to build on his point and what you said, Alex, like, I did like a podcast with a couple guys, just really short term. Trey sent that Twitter account a message, asked if anyone was interested. I said, sure. I'm just a kid in high school, no experience, nothing, but it interests me. Sports interests me. I have an opinion. I watch sports. I love it. And he just gave me a shot, and I'm loving it here. And also with the people. Like, the people on this site motivate me to do better, like, without having to be like, hey, you got to do better. It's just them being so good and them being productive and shit. It makes me want to be better. It makes me want to do better. It makes me want to write more. It makes me want to do more shows. And it's just a great environment that we have here. And so I'm always going to be grateful to Trey for just taking a shot on me.
Yeah, man, we got a lot of king shit mentality out here. This is that Mamba mentality over here. That's all we do around here. That's what we do at Vendetta. Woo-hoo. All right.
Yeah, I just think it's funny that Trey mentioned the 70 deactivated Slack accounts.
Yeah.
As someone who's been here from the beginning, like, that's why, like, and no offense, guys, for the most part, every time he adds someone new, I kind of just wait to, like, learn their name, just because I'm like,
they're going to get deactivated in like a week.
We'll see if they're here.
We'll see if they prove themselves.
Put your time in. Hit 20 articles, and then maybe I'll learn your name.
God damn. Okay, so I believe that's the end of the first one. Are we on the second?
Yeah, that's the
now?
end of the first segment. Sorry, Chad, just to say something else. Like, the guy from my podcast joined with me. And then, like, I remember he wrote his first article before I did, but he stopped, after. He wrote his first article before I did, but that's the only one he wrote, and then he's just done now. Like,
so
that's the thing.
Who was that? Which Twitter was this?
God, it was the guy who wrote the one NBA article about, like, what if, like, the NBA didn't veto the.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
I remember
the Lakers and the CP3 one. Yeah.
Yeah, it was that one.
I remember seeing the article. I don't remember who wrote it though.
Yeah.
Like I said, there's so many people have come and gone. It's like,
well, it's also like, you have this opportunity. It's up to you to make it count.
Right. Exactly.
Like, that's what I love. Like, Trey, he'll take a shot on you. He'll give you a chance. But if you don't do anything with it, that's on you.
Exactly. All right.
So let's move on to our next topic, our death walk schedule. Certain player that you are particularly low on solely because of their schedule. And we're going to start with quarterbacks. Alex, you want to start?
Okay. Was it you that said Josh Allen? Did you say Josh Allen earlier?
Yeah, I said Josh Allen for cakewalk.
I don't like that pick. I really don't. I see everything.
You too.
I see everything that you're saying about their weak division, and that works wonders for them. But I wouldn't start them ever in the playoffs. I mean, in the playoffs, or just the week 13 through 16, you have the 49ers, you have the Steelers. Both have really good defenses. Broncos have a really good defense. They do end on the Patriots, which I feel like they'll win that game. It's just how well Josh Allen has to play for them to win that game. They could just probably win on the defense because I have no faith in the Patriots offense whatsoever. But just those 4 games and that's like right in the middle of the most important fantasy weeks and leagues. I don't like it. I like Josh Allen as a quarterback. I like him as a fantasy quarterback. He was 6th last year. I think he's going to be really good this year again. But it's just those 4 weeks that scare me. But as far as getting to the playoffs, Josh Allen, yeah, fucking go on it. But other than that, I'm not the biggest fan. But it's okay. It's all right.
Chad, you want to go first?
As far as Josh Allen is concerned, I already said what I said earlier. I think Josh Allen, I think he's gonna be a guy. I think his schedule is easy. I think it will lend him some wins. So I don't agree with Alex on this one because, like I said, I've already agreed with Scott before. One other thing to keep in mind with Josh Allen is that I think people forget is that I mean, he can run the ball.
He was one of the best running quarterbacks last year. Yeah.
I mean, who did he jump over? Was it Anthony Barr?
Anthony Barr.
He hurdled Anthony Barr, who for the most part was standing like
6'5".
straight up and down. He's
almost
when
standing
he
straight up.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So I mean, I think when you look at everything that Josh Allen can do, yes, he has accuracy issues. I do think that more often than not, he's looking to run the ball than he is to throw it. Like the game against the Eagles last year when the Eagles played in Buffalo.
I was at that game.
Oh, wow. lucky you.
God dang.
It was a good game to go to.
It was a great game.
But you could tell, like, a certain point after the first quarter, after Buffalo kind of got out of their script a little bit, you could tell Josh Allen, he was – well, I wasn't going to say that. I was just going to say you could tell he was looking to run the ball before he was looking to throw it. And the throw was the second option for him. So I think that's something that he struggles with. But, I mean, overall, I like Josh Allen. Strength of schedule-wise, I think he's going to have an easy time of it.
Yeah, same thing. I disagreed with you, Alex.
It's all right.
I listed all my reasons earlier. No need to list them again.
It's all right.
And
it's all right. I like Josh Allen. I just don't like him in the fantasy leagues. That's all. All right.
Chad, you go.
My pick here is whoever the New England quarterback to be named later is.
Stidham.
Whether it's Stidham, whether it's Cam Newton, whether it's Bill Belichick.
Quarterback according to Chris Sims.
I mean, it could be Bill Belichick's dog. I don't care. Whoever lines up under
His
center,
son.
whatever. Yeah, I don't trust him. Just for the reason why is Bill Belichick doesn't necessarily like to throw the ball. One, and two, they have. Well, honestly, I didn't even think of that. But yes, what receivers do you have? So I guess three. They have the hardest schedule in the NFL next year. The hardest.
They're bones.
So you got a team that doesn't like to throw the ball as it is with no receivers, and you're playing the best teams, quote unquote, in the league. Yeah, that's the no for me.
I wouldn't draft that guy anyway. It could be Brian Hoyer, Stidham.
Hey, you had Stidham ahead of Mitch Trubisky.
That's fair, but still, I wouldn't touch either of them. I still wouldn't touch either of them. I think they're both garbage, but I mean, Brian Hoyer and Stidham might not even be the starting quarterback. It might be, Chad said Cam Newton. It might be
Jamar Smith.
Jamar Smith
is that guy?
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, it's just like to say that, whoever, and Chad's right, we don't even know who the fuck the quarterback's going to be in the whole season. It might be a revolving door of quarterbacks. We never know. But he's right. They run. They don't have any wide receiver options except for Julian Edelman, who's getting old. So, I mean, it's like what more is to go on for the Patriots offense and for Patriot quarterbacks? It just doesn't look good.
Yeah, and even when they had Brady, they were much more of a run-first offense. Now, They don't have the weapons. Their quarterback's not going to be good. Like, whoever the hell it is, it's not going to be good. All right? I don't care what you say. Whoever they can, realistically get. Because you can say, Deshaun Watson. No, that's not going to happen, all right? Don't fucking waste my time with that. It's not happening. So whoever they can feasibly get, they're going to struggle. So, good pick, Chad.
Thank you.
Oh, all right. What is yours?
Mine is one Mr. Joe Burrow.
Ooh, interesting.
And this is because that AFC North is brutal for the Bengals. Because one, the Bengals don't have a good offensive. That's just gonna be a shit show. And also, look, they play the Chargers, great pass rush, great defense. They play the Eagles, great defense. They play the Titans, solid defense. They play the Cowboys, who they have a solid defense. I would definitely take their defense over the Bengals offense. And they play the Texans in the championship game. Now, the Texans don't have the best corners, but they have a great pass rusher in J.J. Watt, and he can single-handedly just be a shit disturber and just screw up that entire game for Joe Burrow. And so, don't draft him. Don't take Joe Burrow. He's not going to do good things for you. Alex, what are your thoughts?
I like it. I think Joe Burrow's. I think what kind of confuses or what people aren't looking about is even though Joe Burrow's wide receiver core, it's not the worst. It's actually I would say it's about average. Maybe it's pretty solid. It's decent, but there's no offensive line. He's not going to be coddled like he was in LSU. Like there's a lot more to worry about. The offensive line is not as good. First of all, you got to expect all your wide receivers to be healthy. AJ Green hasn't been healthy in years. So if AJ Green comes back, but even then, it's just like, then you have to worry about the defenses. And I don't know, Joe Burrow, like as much as he looks like he's really appeasing, he's really not this year. I would say wait a year, maybe next year it's a lot better. Maybe they'll get some offensive line help, but I don't really like Joe Burrow at all this year. When you throw in the fact that Baltimore's defense, the Steelers' defense, the Browns' defense could be good if they actually, use the talent that they have. So, I mean, that's already 6 games out of the year that the Bengals have to play. So it's not looking good for them.
Yeah, I agree with you guys as far as Burrow is concerned. Relatively easy schedule for Cincinnati. They have the 6th easiest schedule in the league overall this year. But I think, you were mentioning, Scott, when you look at who they play individually, like what their strengths are, I think a lot of those teams, they're good defensively against the pass. So I don't really trust Joe Burrow to be able to score a lot of points. Like you said, there's not a great offensive line in place for him. And then wide receiver-wise, yeah, you have AJ Green, but, he gets hurt every other year. So
yeah, it's just not – he hasn't been reliable. So –
yeah.
All right. Are we on running backs now?
I'm going first this time because you keep going to Alex first. I'm feeling a little like I don't know here. What's wrong with me?
We got a circle. We're
we had a great rotation going.
Oh, it's okay, Chad. You got a
It's okay.
All I'm saying is before Trey would mix it up, he'd go to Alex first, then you first, then me first, and it was. Now I feel like you don't like me as much.
Okay, here, look. If you're not first, you're last. Okay, or no? I mean, okay, maybe. Okay, first is the worst, second is the best. There, that works out for your favor. There you go, bud.
All right. So as far as running backs are concerned, here for the death matchups, I'm saying Le'Veon Bell. Couple reasons. One, his coach doesn't like him. Like he wasn't wanted there in the first place, but the general manager was like, "Fuck it,
we're signing this
YOLO."
guy.
Yeah,
we're bidding against ourselves.
So I mean, the fact that his coach doesn't like him already doesn't bode well. But when you look at the teams he plays, you have the Bills, you have the Colts, the Broncos, the Bills again, the Patriots twice. And then the Seahawks, all of those teams were in the top 10 as far as, giving up points to opposing running backs, and meaning that they didn't give up that many points to opposing. They gave up the fewest amount of points to opposing fantasy running backs last year. Also, they play San Francisco, I think, and San Francisco's also in that top 10, if I'm not mistaken. So there's a lot of teams, and they play the Broncos, who's also their number 10 on that list. So there's a lot of teams that they play that don't give up rushing yards and rushing touchdowns. So I don't like Le'Veon Bell at all.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, not only does they have a really hard schedule, but when you have really hard schedules, you're going to be behind a lot of games, and you're trying to win. They're going to throw the ball. I just don't see Le'Veon Bell getting the ball all that much. I mean, other than Adam Gase not even liking the guy, I mean, the Jets are a bad team. They're not going to use their running back all that much. Sam Darnold's going to try to carry that team. Le'Veon Bell's not going to get the ball. So, matchups or not, Bell should be a bad option for you fantasy-wise, but you throw in the matchups in there, he's probably one of the worst ones you can go with.
Yeah, Bell was never going to be the same after he left the Steelers. That's mainly because running backs are more like the cherry on top of the offense. Like when everything is going well, a running back can be great. But when you bring in a running back and expect him to carry the load in the NFL, he's not going to be that much of a difference maker. If you don't have a good offensive line, he's not going to be able to do much. If you don't have good receivers to take players out of the box, the running back isn't going to be able to perform well. And so I like this pick, Chad.
Good for you, Chad. You got to go first. Okay, my turn.
Yes. My turn.
Mine's Kenyon Drake for the Cardinals. Yeah, it's a little spicy, but it's all right. My whole thing is the Cardinals. They still play in the NFC West, which I think is going to be one of the more competitive divisions this year, and that includes the Seahawks twice, 49ers twice. You can make an argument for the Rams. The Rams' defense isn't as good as it used to be, but their defense is at least average. So already it's not looking good for him. And the Cardinals they have a really good offense. I just don't think they're that good of a team altogether, and that is because of the defense. So I feel like they're going to be throwing the ball a lot also. And when they have to throw the ball, a lot of time it's not to the running back. And Kenyon Drake, that's where he would really thrive on if he was getting the ball, but he's not going to get the ball. And then you throw in the fact and yes, I am talking about my playoff weeks again. He plays the Rams. Giants and week 14 is going to be a really good game for him. But then if you're in the championships, I mean, he plays the Eagles and the 49ers week 15 and 16. And that's just, that's a big yikes, man, because both of those front sevens are just going to dominate. And the Cardinals are going to be behind in both of those games, so they're going to have to throw the ball to try to win. But it's not looking good for Drake. I don't like it at all. I'm probably going to start avoiding him. But that is going to be my pick.
Solid pick. Chad,
all right.
What are your thoughts?
I do agree as far as scheduling is concerned, but, I mean, Kenyon Drake, I don't necessarily agree with the fact that he's not going to be productive. I think when you look at the Cardinals last year, I mean, once each was traded over there, it was the Kyler Murray and Kenyon Drake show. I think he's going to end up being a focal point in their offense, which is, I think, going to be better this year. I think, adding Deandre Hopkins, that's only going to open things up for him, So yeah. I don't necessarily agree with him not going to be productive. If he's not productive, it's not going to be because – and they do have a hard schedule. But if he's going to be unproductive, it's not going to be because of the schedule.
Well, I don't know. I think, and if you throw in the fact the Cardinals running backs, that's pretty good. The guy, I mean, Chase Edmonds was at the end of the season. He started being really good, or was it after David Johnson? I don't care. I can't remember. But he was doing pretty good. He had 60 carries. He had 303 yards.
Yeah, but I still think Kenyon Drake was the feature back in that offense. Even when Redmond started to come out of his shell and be a decently productive member of that offense. It's still Kenyon Drake's job to lose. So
yeah, it's his show. I got you, Scott.
Very solid. Very solid. So before I go ahead and give my pick, just a reminder, we were brought to you by VendettaSportsMedia.com. Follow on Twitter, media_Vendetta. Give Alex a follow at ChicksTapePod. Not going to say it. Don't worry, Alex.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that.
Follow Chad at LilFooted, LilFooted. And follow myself, Scott Logish, at SLogish52. And moving on to my pick for Death Walk running back. You said, Alex, you remember how you said Trey would love our picks for cakewalk running back?
Yeah.
I think he's going to like mine for a Death Walk, and that's Saquon Barkley.
Oh, that's a good pick, though. I like it.
I mean, Giants are a terrible team, but if you're looking at that division, they play the Eagles and the Cowboys. Those are brutal defenses. The Redskins, they have Chase Young. Say what you will there, but even if that game is competitive and close, I don't know how effective Barkley is going to end up being. And then also, play the Cardinals. That's a high-powered offense. They play the Bucks. We're unsure. They play the 49ers. That's a high-powered offense and a really good defense. They also play the Bears. Offense remains to be seen, but they have a very solid defense. And for that championship week, they play the Browns and the Ravens. That's probably the worst possible matchup for Saquon Barkley. Because you have two teams that Baltimore, proven, amazing offense. Browns, they should be a good offense. What you also have is you have two really good defenses, and that's just a nightmare for running backs. Chad, what are your thoughts?
This is another one where I do agree they have a hard schedule, but I don't agree with the aspect of Saquon not producing. I mean, who else in that offense is going to get points? You know, like
I think that you got Daniel Jones, who's he wasn't bad. You got Evan Engram at tight end. You got Golden Tate, if I'm on the right team. Golden Tate,
Yes,
Darius Slayton, and who's the last? And Sterling Shepard. So I mean, it's not they don't have a bad offense necessarily. It's not good, but I wouldn't say it's bad. I think there's a lot of I think the ball can be distributed, kind of evenly in that offense, but I just don't think they're that good.
I mean, all those guys were there last year, and
Yeah.
and Saquon was still the golden goose. They want to put the ball in his hands. I mean,
but if they're down, they're
I
not
think
going to be able to.
Yeah.
they were down last year. He had 600, 700 yards receiving, and I think he had 4 or 5 receiving touchdowns. So he's just as much a threat in their passing game as he is in their rushing game.
Yeah. Yeah, he had 52
And
receptions.
they were down a lot. They were down a lot last year, and he had 1,000 yards rushing and 6 or 7 touchdowns. So
He had 400 receiving yards last year.
Yeah, he
400
and 2 touchdowns.
Whatever. I'm right about his rushing stats because I know that for a fact.
What did you say for his rushing stats again?
He had 1,000 and then 6 or 7 touchdowns.
Okay, yeah, you're right there.
Yeah, he knows. He's got it.
6.
Yeah. No, but I see both sides of the argument. I think Saquon Barkley, he's that good of a running back, and so was Kenyon Drake, but they're that good of a running back. But as far as scheduling concerns, it's just you expect them to have less points just because of their matchups. But they're still going to be. I still think they're going to be productive running backs. But just looking at those playoff weeks, they're just brutal. Some of their schedule's going to be brutal. So it's just maybe I wouldn't put Saquon or Kenyon Drake for that matter that high on my board. They'd be lower on my board just because of those matchups and just because of their offense and all that jazz.
All right, you guys want to get into wide receivers?
Yeah, Chad, you can go first.
Yeah, Chad. We'll let Chad go first.
I appreciate the respect and admiration that you have for my ability to.
I don't know if admiration is the right
analyze
word.
fantasy.
Go ahead.
No, I got admiration for you, bud.
I'm going with Mike Evans.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Nice.
Tampa Bay, they as far as schedule strength of schedule is concerned, they are the 17th. They're 17th on that list. So they right in the middle of the pack. Not a super hard schedule, but I think when you look at it's not easy either. When you look at the fantasy production for teams that they're going to end up playing, New Orleans did give up a lot of points to wide receivers last year, but there are some pretty tough teams on their schedule as well. And not to mention Tom Brady, I'm not trusting him to get the ball out. One of y'all, Tom Brady was your pick for death quarterback, right?
Yeah, but that was more of a schedule. I just really don't like Tom Brady at all this year. So. That's fair.
Either way, I mean, I don't. As far as scheduling is concerned, I don't think their schedule bodes well for them. Again, like I said, there are some easy matchups there, but there's also ones that are just as hard.
Yeah, I really don't like anyone from the Buccaneers offense this year.
Except for Keyshawn Vaughn.
Still, I'm not sold on him either. I mean, I think he'll have a better year than people are expecting. But you still got Chris Godwin, Mike Evans. Depends on how Gronk recovers, after not playing the NFL. But I always forget. Is it O.J. Howard or Austin Hooper?
O.J. Howard.
And they have Cameron Brate too.
Yeah, and
they have O.J. Howard and Cameron Brate.
There's a lot to go on in that Buccaneers offense. I don't trust really any of them because I like consistent production. I don't like 40-point weeks and then vanish for 5 weeks. So I feel like Mike Evans is a good pick. I don't really like Mike Evans as a wide receiver regardless because of Chris Godwin there. But you throw in all these other pieces in there, and then you throw in an aging Tom Brady, 42, and then you have some tough matchups for the Buccaneers. It's not a good look.
And I really like this pick. And also just to speak on what Alex said, you got a lot of mouths to feed in that offense. And I don't know if Tom Brady is really the best choice to do it. And also you have to take the offensive line into consideration because you can't throw it deep if you don't have time. That's just a fact of the matter. And so Brady cannot buy time. So he's very dependent on the blocking of that offensive line.
Sweet. All right. I'm going to go now.
Go for it.
Mine is Terry McLaurin. And he was –
Scary Terry.
Yeah, Scary Terry. He was a fantasy breakout last year. And I think he's pretty much the only option in Washington right now to throw to unless, you're excited about, Steven Smith or some shit, or who's the other guy, like Chris Quinn. I don't know. I don't fucking know these people. The Redskins offense
There's a reason
bad.
you don't know them.
And there's a reason, yeah. So, I mean, even though Terry McLaurin is going to be the number one option, I think he'll get the ball a lot. The Redskins are going to be down in a lot of games. I don't like him because the Washington Redskins schedule is – I know. The Redskins' schedule is still going to be really hard for them. I mean, they're going to have a lot of tough games. They still play in the NFC East, which Giants, they play 2 times a year, but they play the Cowboys and they play the Eagles 2 times a year also. And that's kind of scary. And then you throw in, for 13, yes, my fantasy playoff weeks, 13 through 16, you got Steelers, you got the 49ers, you got the Seahawks, and then I'm not really sold on the Panthers yet, but
Good night.
the Panthers.
Well, for those your first 3.
Yeah, I mean, your first 3, you might not even get past those rounds. So, I mean, those right there, and those are going to be key weeks to either get in the playoffs, trying to advance, whatever. But I don't like Terry McLaurin at all, even though he's the number one option, even though he'll get the ball most of the time. But if you have those defenses on him and they're like just real zeroing in on him, I mean, I don't see him having a good day.
Chad?
My bad, man. I honestly, there's a lot going on outside my door. And it was something about. Was it Terry McLaurin? You said.
Yeah, Scary Terry.
I don't particularly agree with that. I feel like he's going to be the focal point of their offense as far as their passing game is concerned. And I think as far as strength of schedule is concerned, I think the Redskins, their top 5 easiest schedule. No, yeah, they are easiest schedules in the league this year. I mean, again, they do have to play some tough teams. They have to play Dallas, who they have great linebackers. So I mean, they can take away a lot of the passing lanes, and they can also get after the quarterback. They have to play the Eagles twice, who like we talked about, they added Darius Slay. So, I mean, that's going to be a tough matchup. But I think all the other matchups that they have an easy schedule with the Giants. They have, they have pretty good matchups as far as, like, wide receiver are concerned. But my concern with them is their quarterback. Which Dwayne Haskins are we going to get? We already, we got a new coach in Ron Rivera coming in. So, who knows what we're going to see out of them? That's my concern. Not so much, their schedule, but I still think he's going to be the best wide receiver. He is the best wide receiver they have. So yeah. I think he should be all right.
All right. I'm going to give my pick, and this is probably going to turn some heads. And that is Deandre Hopkins.
Ooh. Okay.
This is mainly – now, I'm just going to say this right now. All right. This is mainly fueled – by those main 2 playoff weeks. They play the Eagles, and then the championship round, they play the San Francisco 49ers. And mainly based off those 2 weeks, I don't think DeAndre Hopkins is going to be a good playoff wide receiver for fans.
I don't know. Okay, go ahead. Finish. I'll let you finish.
Because the Niners have a fucking great defense. They're great across the board. Defensive line, linebackers, secondary. That's just a scary defense for the championship game. And the Eagles, they're no slouches either. like they were my pick for cupcake calendar defense. And so I feel those 2 playoff weeks, DeAndre Hopkins might disappear for a little bit. What are your thoughts, Alex?
Okay. I don't agree because it's DeAndre Hopkins. And that's literally the easiest way. I mean, I can understand if it was, let's just say it was, one of my picks, like say it was Keenan Allen, Allen Robinson, Terry Maclaurin, whatever, someone out of the top 5, top 10 wide receivers, I'd be all with you. But this is DeAndre Hopkins, man. I mean, no matter who he's against, he's like a must start for me. Even though Kyler Murray's not Deshaun Watson, Deshaun Watson, it doesn't matter who was against him, what defense, whatever. It was Deshaun Watson was looking for DeAndre Hopkins, and that's going to be the same for Kyler Murray, no matter what the matchup is. So if anything, just because they're so hard, Kyler Murray, I feel like is going to be looking for DeAndre Hopkins even more just because it's DeAndre Hopkins. I can't say I agree with you just because DeAndre Hopkins is that he's a bad dude, man. That's a bad motherfucker. Like, God, I would start him. I'd start him against, the best defense, and he was the only good wide receiver. It could be everyone else, like 11 people, and DeAndre Hopkins and the quarterback, and I would still start DeAndre Hopkins just because it's DeAndre Hopkins.
Great. No.
But DeAndre Hopkins is that good. I know it's a slight over-exaggeration, but DeAndre Hopkins is that good. Yeah, slight. Just a little bit slight. I like DeAndre Hopkins. I'd start him no matter what. I don't care who it is. I would start him.
Chad?
So I would have to agree with Alex here.
had me in the first half. Not gonna lie.
Bro, he's been disagreeing with me, so this is good for me.
Well, it's been strange because I pretty much disagreed with Alex the entire episode. Fucking Alex. No, I'm just kidding. But no, for real, I agree with Alex here because DeAndre Hopkins, he's so good that he's got to be a start for you no matter what. Because no matter who he's playing, he's primed to go off. Yeah, has there been games where DeAndre Hopkins has been quiet and maybe not had great production? There has. But I think he's the guy kind of like, I've talked about with Julio Jones in the past. He's guaranteed at least 10 points. Yeah. Because they're going to look for him in the red zone, and he catches everything. You could put the ball 10 feet high, 4 feet out of bounds, and he'll find a way to grab it one-handed with 2 feet in bounds. It's ridiculous, this guy's catch radius. So, not to mention Cliff Kingsbury, second-year head coach. We saw some creative things out of him last year. But, obviously, like going into that second year, defenses have more film to look at now. But he's supposed to be this offensive guru, this offensive genius kind of guy. So if he's the offensive genius that he's supposed to be, they're going to find ways to get DeAndre Hopkins the ball. They're going to find ways to get him open, such as, things like lining him up in the slot. You really trust in the slot corner to cover DeAndre Hopkins? Things like that. So I don't agree with Scott, but I do agree with Alex. You got to start DeAndre Hopkins, no matter if it's week 1, week 15. The only time he should leave your lineup is on his bye week, and even then, you might have to consider he's still might get a touchdown.
You don't know. He might get something like in the practice squad. I don't know, man. DeAndre Hopkins is that good. That guy is crazy, man. All right. Was that everyone's wide receiver? Are we on tight ends?
We're going tight ends.
All right. Scott, I'm sorry, Chad, who do you want to go?
Wow.
No, that is good. Let's share the wealth. Let Scott go.
Yeah, let me go.
All right,
first,
Scott. All right, Scott, go ahead.
So my tight end for my death walk is Evan Engram.
Oh, that's mine. Cool. Okay, good.
Cool. And this is mainly for a lot of the same reasons as Saquon Barkley. They just play brutal defenses throughout their schedule. And also, another factor that isn't completely schedule related, when has Evan Engram been healthy for an entire season?
That's true. I'll give you that.
This is mainly schedule driven, but you have to take that into consideration. Is he going to be healthy the full year?
Yeah.
Because, look, if he's not healthy for their fantasy playoffs, he's not getting anything. But even if he's playing, you play the Browns and the Ravens. Those are two brutal defenses. And when the quarterback's under duress, it's hard to complete a throw to anyone. And so, combination of brutal defenses, a crappy Giants offensive line, and health, Evan Engram, stay away from him. Chad, what are your thoughts?
Evan Engram, I do agree. I think that I talked about this, when I talked about the Eagles tight ends earlier. They are in that NFC East. They are going to play some, the NFC East does give up a lot of production to the tight ends. But one thing that, Evan Engram does have against him are the other teams that they play outside of the division. The Browns, you mentioned already. The Ravens are teams that are good against tight ends. They also play their first their first 4 games this season are the Steelers, who are good against tight ends. Devin Bush, he flies around the field. He can keep up with any tight end. He can keep up with any tight end in the game, so that's going to hurt. The Bears, who we know have had a phenomenal defense, they just haven't had the quarterback to go with it. The 49ers and the Rams, who, again, the Rams have their problems, but covering the tight ends, they're actually really good at it. Plus, they get a really great pass rush from their defensive line. So, yeah, I mean, I agree here. Evan Engram, not a big fan for him fantasy-wise.
Yeah, I'm not sold on it either. Those, I talk about my fantasy playoff weeks, man. They're terrible. You got Seahawks, you have Cardinals, and Scott kind of alluded to it earlier, but if Isaiah Sims comes to his own, he starts covering tight ends, whatever, he might. And if Isaiah Sims,
just erase him. Just erase Evan Engram off the field.
Yeah, I mean, for real, because you got Seahawks, you have Cardinals, which that'll be his easiest matchup, but that's if Isaiah Simmons doesn't pan out. Isaiah Simmons might cause a lot of trouble for him. And you have
also, Isaiah Simmons has so much more time to figure shit out.
Right, because they play the Cardinals at the end of the season.
Yeah, so
he's basically a veteran at that point.
Yeah, and then you throw in, the Browns, who have, they have a lot of talent on defense. It's getting to see if they can figure it out. And then the Ravens, and Chad said they're probably one of the best defenses in this league right now, if not the best. So those 4 weeks are brutal. And then Evan Engram is just, if he's even playing at that point, Scott said he's been injured for almost every year. So it's like, is he actually even going to play? Yeah, Evan Engram is just, he's not going to be, he might, help you throughout the season, but I don't know. He's not a real good fantasy. Look, he's a good fantasy tight end when he's playing, but even then, in this year, it just doesn't seem very good for him.
So, Alex, you had the same pick, so.
I did. So I
do you want to elaborate a bit more?
Oh, that was pretty much it. That was my elaboration right there.
All right.
We'll go and go with Chad.
Go ahead, Chad.
I'm going for this one, Greg Olsen. The reason for that is because, one, you have Seattle, who they, for whatever reason, refuse to let Russell Wilson work. They constantly take the ball out of the guy's hands. And then when you look at the teams that Seattle plays, they don't necessarily bode well for tight end matchups. I'm just trying to get their schedule pulled up real quick. I had it before, but now my phone's freaking out.
Let me see here. I might be able to beat you.
Race.
All right, I'm there. Okay.
Hey.
Well, who are you looking for? I guess I should ask that. I just wanted to be first. Everything's a competition with me.
Anyway, just some of these teams for the Seahawks, they have the Patriots, who are good at stopping the tight end, the Vikings, who are good at stopping the tight end. I mean, we've mentioned it before. The Cardinals, they're in the top 10 as far as giving up points to tight ends, but who knows Isaiah Simmons, what he might be. You have the 49ers, who are good at stopping tight ends. You play them twice. The Bills, good at stopping tight ends. Rams, good at stopping tight ends. Play the Cardinals again, who might be good at, who might be able to take away their tight end. The Jets, who are actually pretty good as far as their pass defense is concerned. The Rams again, and then they end with the 49ers. There's a lot, that division is really good at stopping tight ends. So that's 6 games for you right there just in their division alone that those teams are good at stopping the tight end. So it's Greg Olson's not a fan of I'm not a fan of his.
Yeah. Well, I don't even think he's going to get the ball all that much. I mean, we were talking about, I think it was last episode of the weekend or the episode before or something like that, but DK Metcalfe I think he's going to be really good. He's going to be their touchdown guy, and Greg Olson was, he was kind of known for that. He was kind of a possession wide receiver, but they have Tyler Lockett now too. They still have Tyler Lockett, and then that's if they let Russell Wilson throw the ball. I mean, the Seahawks, for whatever reason, are big on the run, and they don't give Russell Wilson the ball, so I think you hit the nail on the head there.
Yeah, just for a lot of the same points. Seahawks, they take the ball out of Russell Wilson's hands way too often. And then when they do give it to him, it's an, oh, shit, we're losing late in the game. Go make a big play. And you're not going to look for Greg Olson to make a big play in any game. It's going to be Tyler Lockett or DK Metcalfe.
Right.
Fair. All right. I like it. All right. I already did my defense. That was the Eagles defense. I alluded to that earlier.
No, you said no. Didn't you? No, that was for Josh Allen. You said
that was for Josh Allen. Yeah, I got impatient. I said, no, I'm just going to do the Eagles defense now. But so I already said mine. We don't need to.
I'm gonna jump the line.
We don't need to reopen no wounds. So not that I.
Chad, you want to
go? You go ahead because I actually have to look it up because I didn't pick defenses.
All right.
So even though I gave one before, that was kind of like just off the cuff. So let me just do some looking and then we'll go from there.
All righty. Alex, I'm deeply
I did the
sorry.
Eagles, so that's you. It's you now.
I am deeply sorry.
Oh, well, that's all right.
I am picking the Raiders.
Yeah. Okay. I'm listening.
So I just want to point out, like, our defense is just flipped. I picked the Eagles for Cupcake. I picked the Raiders for Deathlock. You picked the Raiders for Cupcake.
Yeah.
And I'm picking the Eagle. I picked the Eagles for Cupcake. I'm picking the Raiders for Deathlock right now. And this is because how much do you trust the Raiders defense? How much do you trust the Raiders defense against certain teams like the Chargers, the Colts, the Falcons, the Broncos, the Browns, the Chiefs, the Bucs? Do with that as you will. The Bills, the Saints. Do you trust that defense in that situation? And also, look, you can say they improved at linebacker because they did. I still don't like that defensive line. I don't know why they picked Cleveland Farrell. That was a massive reach. I think you can agree with me on this, Alex.
No, that's all right. I mean, that's fair. He shouldn't have been the fourth or whatever the sixth. I don't even remember where he was
overall pick.
Yeah, fourth. He shouldn't have been fourth. Go ahead.
Who the hell do they have at corner?
Oh, they got Trayvon Mullen. They got Damian Arnett. They got Amik Robertson.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean.
Listen, no, it's good though. I mean, trust me, it's an improvement. Let me tell you, I'm telling you, they've.
Well, yeah, because it's hard to be as bad as last year.
Exactly. So I mean,
but still, there's still going to be a bad defense.
They'll be average, honestly,
No.
and they will.
Below average.
Maybe, probably. They were
definitely.
19th, they were 19th and 24th. And they spent the whole free agency and some draft picks on defense. So I can't say they're going to be as bad as last year. And, they were close. Well, not 24th, but 19th.
They were
19th.
close. No.
But they were 19th. So that's almost average. I can't remember, actually. Let me look it up. What up? It's in my article. So,
it's in your article. Let's look up.
Yeah, okay. But go ahead. You can continue your point real quick.
So I just don't trust them against those offenses. You can say what you will about the Chargers. Tyrod Taylor isn't a slouch at quarterback. I don't know how good he's going to be able to throw, but he's one hell of a runner. Anthony Lynn, former running back, he wants to run the ball. And so if they're able to just wear down the Raiders' defense by running the ball and then take the occasional shot, I could see Tyrod Taylor throwing for a couple touchdowns. It's not out of the realm of possibility. And so that's in your playoff week. And then against the Colts, you can say what you will about the Colts. Phillip Rivers is an upgrade over Jacoby Brissett. I think we can all agree on that.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Okay. So Colts are going to be better offense-wise than last year. They're going to be an improvement. It wouldn't surprise me if Rivers has a good game against the Raiders solely because he's going to have a hell of a lot of time to throw the ball. Because the Colts have a good offensive line and the Raiders have a bad defensive line, especially in the pass rush.
I think you're underestimating my boy Max Crosby real quick. Max Crosby almost
Shut up.
He had more sacks than Nick Bosa.
Yeah,
or
and he
Joey
played
Bosa,
more
whatever.
games.
Yeah, so.
Played more games. What do you mean, yes, so?
Yeah, I mean, that's just,
When
I
you
don't
play
know.
more games, it is more likely you'll be able to have more sacks.
Like I said, though, I think the Raiders have a chance to be average at best. I do agree with you because, we do play the Chiefs twice a year. We play the Broncos twice a year, and that's already terrible. Throwing the Saints, Buccaneers, I don't think their Bills offense might be they're going to be a little bit better this year. So there's a lot of the matchups I don't like. But as far as if you are struggling, like your defense is not giving you any points for those
Raiders aren't
playoff
going to get
weeks.
any points.
Well, you don't know that, though.
What
I mean,
sacks? What interceptions?
I'm just saying. It might happen. I'm being a homer. It's
Chad, what
okay.
are your thoughts?
Chad's not even
I agree
listening.
with- No, I am listening. I agree with Scott. I mean, I think the
Ha!
Raiders are not – they're defensively, they're just not great. I mean, I talked about it before. I don't know why I had brought up the Raiders defense before, but I do remember – oh, yeah, because that's
Because
right.
That was my
Alex-
take.
Alex already-
Cakewalk, yeah. They don't – for me, it comes down to those three things: time of possession, sacks, and turnovers. They just don't generate enough of any of those as far as time
Yet.
of possession, turnovers. Yeah.
Yet.
He still won't.
Yeah. You don't know that? I didn't know
I
you could
do.
see the future. Who's going to win the Super Bowl, Scott? Okay, then. So.
Not the Raiders.
Yeah, we're not the Raiders. I could
Not
have
the
said
Raiders.
that. I could have said that. No, but I understand. Like, I
I
know the
think your
Raiders
dog could have
defense.
said that.
Yeah.
The Raiders defense is not going to be the best. It's not going to be all that good. I think it'll be improved. They were 19th in yards per game, and they were 24th in points per game. So, and they're going to improve on both of those. It's just I don't think they'll be, a really good defense. I've never said that. I've never said the Raiders were going to be a really good defense. But as far as their schedule holds up, the Jets, the Colts, the Chargers, and Dolphins in those playoff weeks are not good defense. They're not good offenses. Chargers maybe, but other than that, I'm not. I don't know. So I see both sides. For the most of the year, the Raiders defense is not going to be good, and I understand that. Like, that's fair. But I mean, just if you're just playing those 4 weeks, hell, why not? If you get the Raiders offense, the Raiders defense, we all alluded to it. They're probably going to be available for fantasy late in the season. So, and if
You're
It's
in
not
your right
worth
mind
taking.
would draft the Raiders defense.
no one's drafting the Raiders defense. No one's going to
For
draft
obvious
them.
reason.
Yes, that's
Right.
fair. But if your defense is already not good, I mean, and you have 4 weeks left, and you're like, well, this defense is probably ranked worse, or it's ranked really bad. The Raiders are not going to be 32nd for fantasy defenses. I mean, and I think
That's pretty
fair.
hard to do.
It's hard to do. So let's say, you have the 32nd and you have like 25th, and the Raiders are like the 21st. Hell, and they have a decent last 4 games for your fantasy. Hell, I'd take a chance. I'd be like, sure. That's different. for me.
Alex is gonna die on this hill.
I am. I will
He's
die on
already
this
going
hill.
to die on it.
It's-
He's
it's
planting
like,
his
I
flag.
have to
I'm
die.
dying here.
I'm the most stubborn person you'll ever meet. But yes.
I know. It's admirable.
So, I mean, I can't say I agree. I agree with some
Jesus
of it,
Christ,
and I
Alex,
don't
this
agree.
isn't open mic night.
You know what? At this point, it is. We start talking about the Raiders. It's going to be open mic night. That's it. Chad, do you
Chad,
have
go.
yours?
Yeah,
You have
I
defense?
do have mine. This is a team that their overall schedule
Nice phone case.
is not. Thank you. It's a Christmas present. My mom gave it to me.
Nice.
I don't know if you saw, but there's the eagle there. But anyway,
Why I said nice phone case.
We
okay.
got you. We got you.
But anyway, so their overall schedule there is not hard. They actually are. Let's see. Strength of schedule wise, they actually are. They have the 5th easiest schedule in the league, but they're so bad it doesn't really matter. The only team that was in the top 10s that I've been mentioning for every position category as far as points given up, running back, quarterback, wide receiver, and tight end. The only team that was in the top 10 of every single one of those, the Washington Redskins.
Ooh.
Only team that was in the top 10 for every single one of those categories. It doesn't matter who they play. They're going to get torched. They can't they can't stop a single position on the field. Can't stop wideout, can't stop running back, can't stop tight end, can't stop
Quarterback.
the other one, quarterback.
Yeah, it's only the most important position.
But anyway, so the fact that they just can't stop anybody, they automatically have the hardest schedule because no matter what, there's going to be a team every week they're going to play a team that's going to have something they just don't have an answer for.
I like it.
That's fair. And to the Redskins' credit, they are a young team. They have a young defense. I think, with Ron Rivera, they'll pan out in a couple years. But as of short term,
Right now?
no, absolutely not. And
Right now, 2020 season, not a chance.
See, and I'd say this, but, let's say, the Redskins, they played the Steelers, 49ers, Seahawks, and Panthers their last 4 games. I dropped the Redskins defense for the Raiders defense. But no, I'm just kidding. But
I'm going to be honest, I'd do the same, but I don't think I'd be in a situation where I need any of those defenses.
Hey, you never know. But still, it's not good for the Redskins. They're just not a good team. And, they're a young team. They're rebuilding. I think they have a chance to be really good. They have some good defensive they have a lot of young talent that they can grow on. But as of right now, Chad's absolutely right. They're absolutely terrible.
Yeah, just to reiterate what Alex said, you got a young defense. They look promising for future years, but if we're just talking 2020 season, not a chance. I'm not touching them.
All right.
Any circumstances.
Was that everything? Is it time for the segment?
It is time for the best segment we have.
Do you have it queued up? Oh yeah, no, do a little higher, a little louder.
All right. Here we
It's
gotta
not
do
working.
it. We gotta do
Who
it
the
again.
fuck is this guy?
Who the fuck is that?
It's gonna have to do.
It's not great.
You can hear it. You can hear it.
You can hear it.
It's all that matters.
You know what we're talking about.
Who the fuck is that?
Who the fuck is that guy? Guy you've never heard of. No one's gonna draft, but somehow, some way, they can win you your fantasy league. Chad, are you ready to go?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Let's hear it.
So I got Arizona Cardinals tight end Dan Arnold.
Nice
Okay. I don't know who that is.
So they claimed him off waivers last year in December. He ended up with 4 catches, 76 yards, and a touchdown. Not a whole lot, but they don't have any other tight ends on their team. I think, and I know Trey thinks, I don't know about you guys, but at least me and Trey are in agreement here. The Cardinals' offense is going to be a lot better, I think, this year. Adding Deandre Hopkins, that's going to take attention away from the middle of the field. I already talked about, I think Kenyon Drake's still going to shine in their offense. They need somebody in the middle of the field to step up and be productive. And more often than not, that's going to be your tight end in any offense. So he's probably a guy that you're going to be able to get late in your drafts. So, I mean, it's worth a shot.
I like it. I like that.
Yeah.
Scott, you want to go or you want me to go?
You can go.
All right. Mine is a Giants wide receiver. His name is Cody Core.
The only reason I heard of this is because last time I picked the Giants receiver.
Yeah. My main reason for Cody Core is he's 6'3". And we just kind of talked about it too. Evan Engram is hardly on the field, and he's the same height as Cody Core. They're both 6'3". And so, I mean, if the Giants are going to be needing a touchdown option, Cody Core might just snag a couple touchdowns just because of his height. And then you got to think about if there's any other injuries to any other, like Darius Slayton, Sterling Shepard, and Golden Tate. I mean, if there's any other injuries to them, then, Cody Core might go in there and he might be the touchdown guy. So I picked Cody Core just because of his height and just because, he could be a red zone threat for the Giants if, there's injuries involved, or hell, he's just tall enough that you
happens.
just throw it to him in the corner. So, and hope he comes down with it. So,
Chad, you want to give your thoughts?
I'm not gonna pick a Giants tight end at all. I don't.
It's a receiver.
no, he's a wide receiver.
Oh, he's a wide receiver. That's even
Yeah.
worse. That's even worse.
That's fair. I'll give you that.
Unless it's one of their main guys, Sterling Shepard, Darius Slayton. Unless it's one of those two guys, I'm out on Giants wide receivers. I disagree that they could be a factor.
That's fair.
You see, I like
wouldn't
this
draft
pick.
him.
Yeah, clearly. I like this pick, and mainly for the same reasons, because last time I picked the Giants wide receiver, and it's because it's very possible that Golden Tate and Sterling Shepard get hurt at the same time. It happened last year. That's how Darius Slayton emerged.
Yeah.
And so wouldn't surprise me if that happened again. And then, so we're going to bring around with my pick, wrap up the show. I'm going to say the name. Try to tell me what team he's on.
Okay.
Malik Taylor.
Is he a kicker?
No.
Okay, I'm tired of kickers.
Jacksonville.
Is it Jacksonville? That sounds like a Jacksonville name.
It's not.
Well, I don't fucking know.
Wide receiver for the Green Bay Packers.
Oh, interesting.
UDFA 2019 out of Ferris State. And this is mainly summed up. Packers have Adams and then just a bunch of guys.
Devin Funchess is no scrub. He's all right. He's not the best.
He's not much better than a scrub.
Well, I mean, but he was all right. He's all right. I would say he's a wide receiver 2 or 3, but that's about it. But he's not so
All right,
bad.
fine.
But
Outside of those two, you have no one.
okay, after that, yeah, you have nobody. Because
You have
one of my guys, I
Jake
think from
Kumaro.
I think the second episode was Jake
Kumaro.
Kumaro. Yeah, and so who the fuck is that guy too? So I mean,
You're actually right. That was episode 2.
Yeah, so that could be any Packers
wide receiver because you got Funches, Adams, and then nothing.
Yeah.
It's just a crapshoot from there. And so Malik Taylor in 2017-2018 season in college, 61 catches, 906 yards, 6 touchdowns. He finished as, I believe, with the 7th most receiving yards in school history. He declared for the draft. And the Packers picked him up, free agency. Don't be surprised if he sees some snaps, if he gets some catches, because Packers really don't have anyone out of Adams and Funches, like anywhere, outside of running back. That entire offense needs work, especially at receiver. So Malik Taylor, don't be surprised if you see him out on that field catching a few getting some catches, getting some yards, maybe even a touchdown from old Aaron Rodgers. What do you think?
Like it.
I don't think it's a bad pick. I think that my only thing is like you mentioned this you kind of alluded to this. Aaron Rodgers, like they don't have any one guy outside of like Devontae Adams.
Yeah.
I mean, Devin Funches, whatever. I don't, I trust him as far as I can throw him.
Yeah.
But I mean, as far as like all those other guys, outside of looking for Devontae Adams, he doesn't really like he'll spread the wealth to everyone else. So like, yeah, you might see Malik Taylor. You might see him on the field. He might get a few catches every once in a while. I just don't think that unless he somehow has this crazy rapport with Aaron Rodgers, I don't see him being very productive. But that's why this is what this segment is.
Yeah. I mean, it's just some
random guy who can win your league.
Right. So
if all the cards fall the right way,
right,
there's a good chance this guy doesn't even make the roster.
Right.
Chat, it's like freaking your pick or Reggie Bonifant, I believe. Yeah, running back for the Panthers.
He's gonna make the roster. He might just
but there's a good chance he never sees the field.
Yeah. I feel you.
So
all right.
Whatever happens. That's why we play the game. So, do we have any closing thoughts?
Do not pick the Raiders defense. Whatever you do, just don't fucking do it.
I knew it was coming. I just didn't. I didn't know how it was going to come. But I knew it was coming.
I didn't want to be the one to do it.
Look, man. Yeah. whatever, Sure. Okay. I get it.
We've heard Alex enough.
Right? Getting me to shut up is the problem.
It is. All right. So remember, check out the websites, VendettaSportsMedia.com. Check out the Twitter, media_Vendetta. Follow us. Follow Alex, Chicks Tape Pod, with a solid 0 episodes.
It's coming. Don't worry.
It's coming.
Working on it.
You said that since we started the show.
No, I haven't.
He's still editing it.
It's a long edit process. So
It takes a month.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, you gotta make it perfect.
Yeah. Follow Chad, Little Footage. Follow me, Scott, at slogish52, all on Twitter. And until next time.